Do you want her to do everything in bed? Do you want her to let go, tease you, beg for more, and go beyond anything you imagined? Then stop thinking this comes from luck or magic. It doesn't. It comes from a very specific kind of man, the one who knows exactly what he's doing, who controls the moment, the rhythm, the atmosphere, who touches differently, speaks differently, and makes her lose control all by herself. That man exists, and you can become him. Very few men understand this, and that's why very few ever unlock everything a woman is truly capable of offering in bed. But you're about to learn, because there's a rare combination, self-mastery, presence, body reading, and post-intimacy attitude, that makes any woman drop her emotional guard, surrender completely, and turn a simple night into something unforgettable. And the man who masters this gets her to do anything, with passion, intensity, and eagerness to do it again. But don't make the mistake of skipping parts or clicking away too soon. Every piece here is part of a puzzle. If you miss one, it might be the exact key that makes her crave you more than any other man. So stay with me until the end, because by the time this video ends, you won't be the same man. Everything starts long before the first touch. And once you understand that, you've already won, before the clothes even come off. Key 1. The game starts before the touch. She doesn't surrender when her clothes fall. She surrenders when she senses she's in front of a different kind of man. One who carries self-mastery in his eyes, not anxiety disguised as urgency. Most men fail not because they lack desire, but because they lack presence. It's in the subtleties, in the steady silence, in his emotional presence, that quiet attraction begins to burn. A common mistake is thinking foreplay is just physical. It's not. The real mental foreplay begins when you show her that you see her internal world before touching her external one. When a man knows how to pause at the right moment, hold a dominant gaze, or whisper a precise phrase in her ear, he's saying, "I see all of you." And no book teaches that. Ever noticed how a simple touch on the hair, done with intent, can shift the entire vibe? That's a conscious touch. The art of touching with purpose, not just hunger. A slow glide across her back, guided by sensory intelligence, speaks louder than compliments. She senses she's with someone who knows exactly where he is, and why. Even before the bedroom, he's already decoding signals. A hesitant smile, a deeper sigh, a repeated gesture. These are all part of female body language. A man who's paying attention reads what others miss, and earns a level of trust that isn't asked for, it's automatic. That's nonverbal communication in its purest form. And that's when masculine confidence sets in. Because he's not there just to receive pleasure, but to create an experience where she can be herself. No masks, no fear, no tension. And this is only the beginning. We haven't even gotten to what happens when her body starts to respond. Now that you understand how she opens up emotionally, it's time to act wisely when her body follows. Key 2. Lead her body, slowly, without ego. In bed, the most common mistake of an insecure man is rushing. He acts like there's an invisible timer ticking down his performance. But the man who truly understands intimacy knows that calm is the real aphrodisiac. When he moves with emotional calibration, she feels guided, not pressured. And that changes everything. To lead is not to control. It's to guide with awareness. A man with sexual leadership knows every touch is an invitation, not a demand. He reads the micro-signals, the subtle arch of her back, the shift in her breath, the closing of her eyes. He reads with sensory intelligence, as if her body were braille, and he had all the time in the world to read it. Here's something practical. Instead of going straight for the obvious, start at the edges. Face, neck, shoulders back, touch slowly as if exploring sacred ground. The secret lies in erotic timing, not intensity but progression. A gentle touch on her hips, then a long pause. That builds sexual tension and gives her exactly what she secretly craves, anticipation. It's in this quiet rhythm that true pleasure is born. When she feels the man is fully present, attentive, adjusting his pace to hers, with respect for her rhythm, she allows herself to feel without guilt or restraint. Trust deepens. What felt normal becomes unforgettable. This is what triggers the deepest mental unlocks in a woman. This man isn't worried about making her orgasm. He's focused on building a genuine connection. He knows the climax isn't the goal, it's the natural result of a well-crafted environment. And when she realizes that, She gives herself to him in ways she didn't know she could. But there's one detail many men still ignore, and it changes everything afterward. Now that her body has responded, what you do after reveals whether she'll crave you again or forget you. Key 3. What you do after is more important than you think. Most men check out emotionally after sex, as if everything that mattered already happened. But it's the moments after intimacy that make or break the entire experience. That's where the memory is sealed. A man with emotional maturity knows that staying present afterward is a sign of strength, not neediness. She doesn't want dramatic confessions, but she also doesn't want cold silence. A light stroke through her hair, a warm look, a simple "you looked incredible just now." These tiny acts of emotional validation communicate. You still matter, even after the pleasure. That builds psychological safety, and it's more powerful than words. Here's the real secret. After sex is the best moment for her to lower her guard even more. It's where giggles are born, secrets are shared, eyes lock longer, and new desires are planted. A man with emotional presence sees this moment as gold. He stays in the emotional space they built, without retreating like an unprepared boy turning his back to sleep. And don't think this is just a woman thing. This is neurochemistry. It's biological. It's psychological. The way you act after intimacy directly impacts the mental unlocks she'll either allow or suppress the next time. A man who vanishes emotionally after sex unknowingly kills the craving she didn't even know she had for him. A soft touch, a slow chat, a real hug. It subtly prolongs the sexual tension. Quick pause here. If this content is opening your eyes to things you used to overlook, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, because this is just the beginning. Let's keep going, because there's another moment where most men mess up, and it doesn't even happen in the bedroom. It happens days before, and that's what we'll get into now. Before physical pleasure, there's something far more powerful. What you build before the first touch. Key 4. Seduce her mind before her body. You could look like a movie star, but if you don't know how to get into her mind, she'll forget you in minutes. Real seduction starts in the invisible. The way you look at her, listen to her, what you don't say. A man with a firm voice, who understands the weight of silence, often says more than the loudmouth trying to impress. That's pure nonverbal communication at work. You know that guy she barely touched but already felt drawn to? He masters mental foreplay. He knows how to tease without being vulgar, provoke without offending, compliment without sounding needy. A well-placed phrase, dropped casually in the middle of a normal conversation, said with masculine energy, can spark more desire than any explicit message ever could. This also comes from emotional intelligence. A man who knows himself doesn't force connection. He lets it happen like fire catching dry wood. He uses his self-mastery to hold back the urge to show off, and that alone makes him magnetic. While others chase her attention, he invites her curiosity with quiet moves, like a dominant gaze held in the stillness of a well-timed pause. Want a practical example? Instead of replying to her teasing with some weak joke or cliché, look her in the eyes, smirk slightly and say, "You talk like you know exactly what you're doing to me," and stop there. That kind of line mixes charm, masculine confidence, and triggers an instant emotional response. She'll remember. She'll think about it later. She'll imagine the rest. This kind of seduction creates a magnetic pull. She doesn't feel manipulated, she feels seen. And women can't resist men who truly understand them. But all of this can collapse if, in the moment she finally opens up, you fail to deliver where it matters most, your emotional stability. Now that she's opened herself to you, the real test happens during the act itself. Key 5. Make her pleasure your silent compass. A truly powerful man doesn't brag about his performance, he studies. He observes. He feels. Because he knows her body is like a delicate instrument. If you play it the wrong way, it falls out of tune. So during intimacy, he moves with sensory intelligence, guided by the rhythm she slowly reveals. Every sigh, every tension in her muscles is a map. And a focused man knows how to follow it with emotional calibration. It's not about showing strength, it's about showing presence. Not pressure, but intention. A touch can be firm, as long as it's a conscious touch, never robotic. The mistake many men make is repeating patterns, as if all women responded the same. They don't. Every woman carries her own blocks, desires, wounds, and fantasies. That's why a man with true emotional presence will always outshine the mechanical one. A simple practice: when you notice she's immersed in the moment, pause. Yes, pause. Look into her eyes with a dominant gaze and slowly say something like, "You're losing control, and I like it." Then continue. This kind of moment triggers an emotional, sensual, and subconscious reaction because it combines tone, intention, and direction. Her body instantly recognizes that she's with a man who leads with sexual leadership, not childish ego. He also understands that she doesn't always want the same thing. Sometimes she wants to be dominated. Sometimes she wants to feel safe. A man who embodies self-mastery adapts without losing himself. And that's what creates true trust. Not the kind she talks about, but the kind that makes her forget the world and surrender fully. A man with respect for her rhythm is never forgotten. But there's one element most men miss: how he responds to her signals, both physical and emotional. Because her body is communicating all the time. And when he can read her female body language like he reads his own breath, he reaches places no one else ever has. Still, none of this lasts if he fails in the next, and most important, level. You can master everything, but if you don't have this, she'll shut down again. Key 6. What really makes her surrender body, mind, and soul. There's a quiet, often invisible moment when she decides, with this man, I can go further. And it doesn't happen just because you were good in bed. It happens when she feels desired as a whole person, not just used. A man with masculine confidence doesn't need to prove anything. He just needs to be fully present. And that creates a level of psychological safety most men will never offer. She might have trauma, emotional blocks, hidden fears. That doesn't get resolved with pressure. It gets resolved through presence, through real listening. Sometimes the strongest thing a man can do is allow her to feel. He becomes the safe space where she undresses, not just physically, but emotionally. And when she feels that, something shifts. She crosses her own mental blocks and rewards him with a level of surrender that feels almost unreal. Here's a simple example. After intimacy, instead of just saying, "That was great," he gently asks, "What did you enjoy the most?" Or, "Was there anything you wish I'd done differently?" But without pressure, with lightness. That shows emotional maturity and makes her see that he's there to grow, not to please blindly. That posture makes her stay, not because she has to, but because she wants to. This kind of man is rare because he doesn't pretend to be good in bed. He's good at the soul level. He cultivates masculine energy with focus and purpose, and channels it to create authentic connection. He doesn't get women. He's remembered. He's longed for in the middle of the night, when she replays the moment and wonders, why was that so different? And the most powerful part, he's not trying, he's just living with self-mastery. And the result is inevitable. She begins to trust so deeply. She lets go in ways even she didn't know were possible. She lets her body lead, she experiments, she takes the lead, she opens up because she feels safe, seen, and fully free. And in the end, what truly turns a woman on isn't how much you try to impress her. It's how well you create the space for her to be fully herself. No masks, no fear, no breaks. That is the true power of a stoic man. Now you're holding something most men don't even have the courage to seek. Real knowledge on how to please a woman deeply, safely, and memorably. But knowing alone won't change anything unless you apply it. So ask yourself, are you going to keep being another average guy? Or are you ready to take control of your performance, your presence, and your leadership in intimacy? What's holding you back from becoming the man she respects, craves, and wants to experience again? Which of these actions will you start using today? Drop it in the comments. Right? Now it's on me. That way I know you're committed to making this real. Thank you for watching this to the end, sincerely. That tells me you're not here for shortcuts, but for true transformation. If this content hit you hard, give it a like, send it to a brother who needs to hear it, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell. Here, you learn how to become the man who inspires respect, desire, and confidence in and out of the bedroom.